Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping into the collapsing world that is Luna. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And I'm going to start this video off by just kind of saying that there's a lot of people being affected with various different kind of depressive thoughts, specifically over the price action of Luna. Okay, so mental illness is real. It can affect almost anyone, and I think it's important that we kind of acknowledge that a lot of people have actually been taking their lives over what has been going on with Luna specifically. So I'm going to put this out there now. Come and join us in Discord, chat to us. We are there every day, 24/7, with the occasional off time for food and family and whatnot. But for the most part, we are always there. You can mention us. We can talk to us. We've got a fantastic community talking 24/7 down in our Discord server, right? So if you're struggling with anything, join us there. Honestly, guys, completely free. Join us, have a chat. We'll kind of help each other get through this the best that we can. So do that, and I don't think you'll regret it. Okay, and okay, let's get into the video, right? So the video, as you can see here, we've got invalid symbol. This is basically Binance on Luna. Okay, so basically Binance Luna UST trading obviously is no longer viable. It's not there, right? And basically they've suspended Luna UST trading amid the issues on Terra blockchain. Okay, so this is something that came out a couple of hours ago from 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 again. This one actually I can check, right? We definitely can see that it has been suspended. We also got all the notifications from from Twitter and whatnot for Binance. Now, I only really mention that because sometimes 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, they have grudges with certain blockchains that you can't always get factually true information. That's probably a really bad way of phrasing that. Sometimes they have a narrative, right? And like specifically around Cardano, they're not going to give you the facts as it is, but they will give you what they think is going on in their opinion. So I'm always cautious with what we read here from 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘. But that being said, this is fine. I've verified that. So basically, Binance suspends Luna and UST, right? So we can come down here. There's a couple of things on this one that I just think are really important that we kind of just review, right? So we obviously have 𝗕𝗔 from Binance, if very familiar on Twitter. Basically, some of our users unaware of large amounts of newly minted Luna outside the exchange started to buy Luna again without understanding that as soon as deposits are allowed, the price will likely crash further due to these significant risks. We suspended trading, right? So that's kind of like the reasoning behind it, right? So much Luna has been minted that it's going to increase selling pressure, which basically increases the probability of significant downside. And you can kind of see that, right, in the price. It's just crashing further. You need less supply, not more supply. This is something we talk about with Bitcoin all the time. Around the Glassnode data, we're seeing significant amounts of Bitcoin disappearing off of the exchanges. When demand comes in, price will go up significantly. But when you have too much supply and very little demand, you see the opposite. You see complete collapse, right? But more importantly, above and beyond that, this is the quote that I'm really interested in, right? He's noted that basically, I am very disappointed with how this UST Luna incident was handled or not handled by the Terra team. We requested their team to restore the network, burn the extra minted Luna, and recover the UST peg. So far, we have not gotten any positive response or much response at all. So I want to break that down just into a couple of things here, because words mean things. They have very specific meanings behind them, and specifically if they are constructed into a sentence the way they have been, right? They were chosen for a reason. So when we get into this a little bit deeper, so basically Binance have requested basically just two things, or three things, right? Three things were requested for Luna, right? And it was to restore the network, burn the extra Luna that was minted, and then basically put the UST back to its peg, right? Those were the three requirements that Binance have. And basically, they had a response because they said that we have not had much response, but they've had a response. But it is it's not a positive response, right? The response that they've had back, at least being perceived from Binance's perspective, is not a positive response. Okay, so they've asked for restore the network, burn the minted Luna, recover the peg, and they have not gotten any positive responses or much response at all. So they've had communication, Okay, so it's not saying that they haven't had communication, but they're saying that the communication isn't in line with their expectations, or basically a positive response. Their expectations were restore the network, burn the minted Luna, and recover the peg. So it's either 1, 2, definitely not all 3 of those are going to happen. Maybe none of those are happening. We don't know. What we do know is this was tweeted out, and it's just not positive from a Binance perspective. We don't know what that response is. So there might be a legitimate reasons why they can't restore the network until they've minted, and they can't restore the peg until they get funding to be able to pull the peg back up. I don't know. So lots of things that are going on there. I really wanted to kind of break that down a little bit, because it's not like the Terra team haven't responded to Binance. They have responded. It's just not what Binance wanted to hear. Okay, and that's also fine, right? It doesn't have to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to this. Many of you might be familiar with this by now, but basically on the 12th, there was a press announcement, I guess that's how you want to talk about it. 𝗕𝗓𝗪 Holdings could be the white knight to basically alleviate all of the issues with USD. Basically, they're expected to invest $2 to $3 billion to absorb the excess UST. And basically, during its current sell-off. So that's kind of what they're looking at. So that came out yesterday. Obviously, it's being picked up again by Crypto News Flash. Basically, they're just picking up on this particular news, and they're regurgitating it, if you will, same kind of thing, talking about bringing the peg back up to its dollar against USD, and it would take about up to $3 billion, right? Further above and beyond that, though, if I actually come over to this one, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 has actually put out saying no rescue for Terra. So basically, Swiss asset manager denies the $3 billion bailout. Okay, so what's interesting about this is it is the polar opposite of what Crypto News Flash has said, and obviously what is going on here. So what's being said here is that basically they've reached out to 𝗕𝗓𝗪 Investments, and basically they've basically then just said, the communication and investor relations, 𝗕𝗓𝗪, basically categorically labeled the release as fake news. So what's being said here is that this is fake news, this is not real, and the quotes from Peter at the bottom here are all fabricated. That is what 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 have come out and said. Now, again, I have no way of verifying this. I don't have a contact at 𝗕𝗓𝗪 Investments. I have no way of actually getting ahead of the head of communications and investment relations, Charles. I have no way of doing that, and I don't have a contact for CEO Peter to know for sure. But this is kind of what 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 have put out. And as I said at the beginning of the video, they have a bit of a history of just kind of shilling their own narrative, rather than necessarily being 100% factual. But I have no way to disprove or prove this. Let me know in the comments below if it is true or not, because this basically tells us that this is fake. This report is again just based on fake news and nothing real, and therefore the only people who've got the real information at this point is 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏, because they are able to actually get hold of someone at where is it? 𝗕𝗓𝗪 Investments. Now, 𝗕𝗓𝗪 Investments, I will just note, is different to what we have here. This is 𝗕𝗓𝗪 Holdings. So whether they are meaning the same thing, I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of get your thoughts and opinions on that in the comments below. Real or fake? What do you reckon? Fake news? But let's take a look at this, because in this one, it goes a little bit further beyond just this bailout. We actually have Ran basically tweeting out. Basically, they had their show. They were talking about the rumors that Citadel was involved in the attack against Luna, and he was being contacted by the Citadel, and basically they deny having any involvement, and they put it into writing, I believe, just down here in this email. So it seems as though in the comments are dismissing this as a conspiracy theory. It is basically Citadel Securities does not trade in stablecoins, including UST. Basically, they put that out as well, just basically just kind of cover themselves to say that it's not real. It's basically a conspiracy, or it's a theory that was put out there, I guess, and it's turned out it is not accurate. Okay, so interesting to kind of see what's going to go on here longer term with this. But basically what we're looking at here is potentially no bailout, and it had absolutely nothing to do with Citadel Securities, which could mean that it was an inside job. Well, who did this, right? Someone must have triggered this particular sell-off, this event, right? These are a series of unfortunate events. At least that's how we kind of have to look at it at the moment. Someone would have triggered this. Was it an insider? Was it someone from the Terra team themselves? Was this someone that just took advantage of a really blatant vulnerability within the ecosystem, and as a result have caused an unprecedented amount of damages, you know, that can only really be rivaled by what the SEC did to the XRP investors back in late 2020, right? We're talking very, very significant damages that have been done. People have lost their lives over this, and all because of one or two or a group of individuals that took advantage of a potential issue on the ecosystem. So as a whole, as we kind of take a look at this, we can obviously see that Terra Luna in itself has dropped down vastly to incredibly low numbers. You're pretty much safe to say it is at zero. If I actually type in USDT correctly there. Which I haven't. Why haven't I got that? USDT. That's why I haven't got that. There we go. USDT. If we take a look at it on KuCoin here, you can see that we're all the way down here at 0.0000007700 right now. Okay, so this is completely collapsed down. Utter collapse, right? So there's a couple of things at this point I really want to kind of talk about, right? So first of all, if we are we ever to really see this to push up in any significant way? It can go one of two ways, right? And it's going to cost billions of dollars if they want to keep this to survive, or it's going to go to zero, and basically they'll start a new system somewhere else, and maybe there'll be changes of names and all sorts of different things. It wouldn't be the first time in history that things fail like this, okay? And it's important that we understand that. So one, if there is a bailout, although that looks likely, less likely, right? If there's no bailout, then essentially, if there is a bailout, then we could probably see some kind of recovery. Now, what would you expect to see in terms of recovery? Well, you would expect to see it get turned off. You'd expect to see it get delisted or suspended on exchanges for at least a period of time that allows them to implement the fix, okay? Because you can't really drop in a whole load of liquidity, burn minted tokens, restart the network, get it all up and running whilst active trading is going on or anything like that. So I'd expect it to kind of be turned off if there's going to be some kind of recovery to be had here. And, you know, essentially you'd then start to see some form of recovery. Now, the issue that you really have is all the newly minted Luna, right? Everyone went crazy buying it, even myself included, right? I don't say crazy. I threw a few $100s at it. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, I don't care, right? It's a couple of $100 and it's fine. However, lots of people were buying stupid amounts of Luna on the way down here, to the point where that selling pressure is going to be absolutely immense on the way back up, which means you're never really going to find any decent kind of price discovery on the back of it. So if anything, you're going to see sustained selling pressure for a long period of time, even with liquidity being provided. So it is an uphill battle to get this thing turned back on. I think it's very unlikely, but there is always that outlier, that off chance that you could do something with it. But I think it's incredibly unlikely. I wouldn't say it's 100% certain that it's going to zero and it's completely going to die, or it is dead. I think it's not something you can say with 100% certainty it is dead and it's never going to come back. I think you could probably say it's 99% certain that it's dead and it's not going to come back. And there's always that outlier that you can kind of say possibly under certain circumstances you might be able to see something happen here. But I think that's essentially not likely to happen. Personally, that's kind of where I stand with it. Ultimately, I think people will continue to suffer immensely on the back of everything that has been going on. So do join us in Discord. We will help you the best that we can. We've got a fantastic community, and you know, at the end of the day, this is money. It's not worth losing your life over, and money can be made back. Okay, and you know, join us in Discord. We'll kind of talk through various different strategies that can be implemented to help deal with the fallout of all of this nonsense that has been going on with Luna. Obviously, we have that 1% hopium there. That, you know, we might be able to see some form of recovery, but ultimately I think that's incredibly unlikely at this stage. I'm going to leave the video there, guys. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.